right?
Yeah. Do you want to open on a specific song? There's
Let's
one
open
movie.
on literally any other Rolling Stone song.
Let me see if I can find a good cover of this.
Do you want to open on a specific song? There's one song that sang 65 times in this movie.
Did you count? I wouldn't surprise me to find out that you actually counted.
Yeah, I feel like people should do that, like the fuck count in Pulp Fiction, but do the time on my side count in Fallen. Okay, Matt, play us in with some intro music. Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, of iTunes, Libsyn, and soon to be Spotify, welcome to the 20-year-old movie podcast. I'm your host, the Joke Man, joking on every loser, Joel Walkowski. I am joined by my co-host,
Matt, the movie man Anderson.
Matt is so Midwestern, his name does actually start with an
It's my surname.
And hell yeah, we feeling good. We got a request to be on the show today. Say hello to Johnny Rowe.
Hi, everybody. How are you? I don't know. I instinctively wave every time, even though this is a clearly auditory podcast.
Yeah, I went like, welcome, but stuck my hand out.
We should make this podcast a visual experience.
Once we get the money, we'll have the vision.
When I used to host one, I was very guilty of always saying, give it up for... When I was bringing...
Your podcast was really good. John used to run the Heavenly Podcast with Tommy F. Ray and Casey James Salengo, best comic in New York. And like, man...
Tommy?
No. Tommy might be the movie extra who discusses it the most, which is also pretty good. I love Tommy Ray. It is WrestleMania today in Brooklyn, and at the Royal Rumble,
happy WrestleMania, boys.
Thomas F. Ray saved my ass. Our buddy Chris Welty was having one of his meltdowns, and I was like, "No, he was being such a jerk." I was the last person to show up to the Royal Rumble, and like this was before I got my knee surgery, so I was really just walking around on one leg, and there were no chairs. And Welty says, "You're gonna have to stand." And
what a great Welty impression.
And there was,
It sounds like him.
And then I saw that there was a chair in Schroeder's room, and I was like, "Welty, can I get the chair from Schroeder's room?" And he's like, "No, I don't want to move his laundry."
Wow.
So sweet Tommy F. Ray, he gave up his seat so I could sit for the Royal Rumble.
What a boy. You won some money then.
I did win some money. I won 2 Rumble pools. I think I made $260 that night. It was great.
I won one, and I was very happy.
I gotta say, as far as gambling goes, nothing can beat the Royal Rumble pool. It is fantastic. It's gambling with just the way the Rumble is structured and the way there's suspense on who you're gonna get.
Wrestling
it's
and
wonderful.
gambling. Yeah.
Well, it like condenses the excitement of a bracket, which holds your attention for 3 weeks, into like an hour and 15 minutes.
Matt, do you know how a Rumble pool works?
No, I don't.
So basically, Royal Rumbles typically have 30 entrants.
Okay.
And you throw 30 numbers in a hat, and then everybody can buy a number for $5.
Oh, okay. So it's like a score pool in like for the Super Bowl or something.
And then the Royal Rumble, they enter 1 through 30, obviously.
Yeah.
And whenever your entrant is, if that number is the person who wins, then you win.
Okay. Isn't like most of the winners like around 20 to 25?
I think this year was 17, right?
There's a lot of early guys. They mix it up. The WWE knows you're betting on it, so like they'll manipulate it. So we got off on a little bit of a tangent. We're not here to talk about wrestling, and we are going to get on a lot of tangents this week because we are talking about Fallen.
What a movie.
Okay, Matt, did you like Fallen?
It was fun to watch, but it was definitely a bad movie.
And
that's the best way to put it. That's the nicest way to put it.
That is the kindest thing anybody's ever said.
So listeners, like, I don't know if you've seen this movie. It's the late 90s. All our films take place in 1998. And like at the time, there was a certain kind of like pseudo highbrow suspense thriller that worked really well in the 90s. Like Seven really got it off to a
Rising
bang.
Sun.
Rising Sun. Movies like Murder by Numbers and Insomnia. I'm such a sucker for those movies. And this is that kind of movie. It's a serial killer movie with like just a little bit of a supernatural twist, and it stars absolutely prime Denzel Washington.
He looks so good.
And you know what? I didn't appreciate Denzel as a star as a young man, but he just fills up the screen entirely in this. There's so much charisma. He's handsome as hell. And like he plays this kind of hard role very well. But despite all that, I thought the movie was an absolute train wreck.
I agree. I think that he has a great performance. I think that
John Goodman,
Donald Sutherland, I think was what I was going for.
Oh, he's one of the Space Cowboys, right?
He is one of the Space Cowboys. Donald Sutherland has a great role as the, I guess, commissioner of the police department. I'm not sure exactly what his role is.
Yeah,
boss.
The big three of this movie, Denzel is it's kind of like all about the fraternity of policemen. So he has a lot of interactions with a pretty strong supporting cast: John Goodman, James Gandolfini, and Donald Sutherland.
That's right.
And
no, you were gonna you had it first.
I wasn't gonna say that actually.
Oh, you weren't gonna say Janice from The Sopranos?
We also see Janice and Tony Soprano interacting.
Is Janice and Beth?
Yeah, I believe so. You see James Gandolfini interacting with both Janice Soprano and a turkey leg. So you have like two of his biggest Sopranos co-stars.
I thought it was Neo Verdalos for a minute, but it is definitely Janice Soprano. You're right.
Yeah, and this movie, like, I really wanted to watch it. Like, you suggested we watch this for the podcast, and I was like, okay.
I'm sorry.
Like, I'm seeing the stats.
No, it's fine. I mean, like a supernatural film where, like, oh my God, the main gag is demon cam. You know how you're like, oh, I'm a demon. Like, I was hoping down in the bottom right corner it would say like demon cam.
It was pretty close to doing it.
It was just like it brought back this like nostalgic effect. I mean, while it wasn't like necessarily like special or anything, like it made me think of like being a kid, you know.
And you know, Matt, I think with a movie you want to relate it to your own individual experiences, and this is a suspense thriller. Was this more or less of an adrenaline rush than ordering a drone strike on an Iraqi family?
Right, that's my over under. Yep. Yeah. Well, I would say it was a little bit less. No, it was very underwhelming. You know, you don't get that joy that you experience when you press that red button.
I worked at the Lego store once, where you are not an employee, but you are a building block.
Is that really?
Yeah, you are called that.
It's like cast members in Disney.
It was a terrible job. You had to like tell everyone who's getting the gift today, and it was in Rock Center, and it would get like so busy. You couldn't even move in there, and like you would like have to restock the shelves, and you'd find like hot dogs. And our manager was just like real kind of like alpha male hard ass, and like he was in an Iraq tour, and one time he like we were all telling funny stories, and he told us like, yeah, once I was over there in Iraq, and I put a piece of dynamite up a dog and lit it.
No, we were all sitting around telling funny stories.
And like he told us about exploding a dog.
Oh my God, that guy! He better have been lying.
No, he wasn't.
I don't think he
wasn't lying.
He could have been looking for attention. You know, he's one of those Michael Scott types. He just wants people to like him,
Mike.
And he's like, "This will be what gets him."
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh no! What was Did they have like fun training at the Lego store that was all like Lego built?
No, we hated it. It was absolutely awful. Like I remember like one time my coworker's daughter was in surgery, and they wouldn't let my coworker leave, so he had to like sell toys while his daughter was under the knife.
Oh my God!
And I just remember like him looking at him, like asking people like, "Who's getting the gift today?"
No.
Who is getting the gift today? It was a sweet. I started doing stand up while I worked at the Lego store.
Really?
Like my first ever show.
Was that the
Everyone
Lego
from the
store?
Lego store came out. I had like 25 Lego store employees. And like a lot of them like were like New York retail lifers. Like they're very sweet people. They were going to live and die in these stores. Like one of them like wore like an evening gown out to see me do stand up. I did stand up
Oh
at
my
this
God.
place, Port 41. You guys ever get up there?
No.
Where is it?
It was on.
I bet I
It was
have.
on 41st and 9th. It was a bikini bar attached to the Port Authority in Manhattan. Like the waitresses would have cesarean scars.
What a
Yeah.
gig.
Did they have sand on the floors?
No, they don't.
That would have been
There's
the
one
that would have been the right
that
touch.
used to be down by closer to Penn Station.
Yeah, once there wasn't a stage there, so we all just performed on a pile of wood.
I've performed on pallets before. That's sad.
Another time, a guy passed out in the bar, and another dude just gave him a hand job while he was passed out.
What?
Yeah. Meanwhile, like I'm like starting comedy 15 feet away.
How nonchalant he is about telling these stories.
Where children's dreams come true. The Lego store.
The Lego store.
And surrounding area. Can you relate your job to any of this movie at all, Jeff?
Any of this movie?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think because I used to work with mentally delayed adults, and I'm pretty sure
they wrote it.
I'm pretty sure that Denzel Washington's brother is at least supposed to be mentally delayed, maybe, or very sad. One of those.
Yeah, he seems like they make him seem a little bit mentally retarded, a little bit homosexual, and it turns out he's just on
He's
heroin.
just a heroin addict. Can we jump to that, or should we wait for
Yeah,
that?
Matt, you're driving the ship.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well, my next point. What did you guys think of Gandolfini's dumb fucking mustache? Right.
I loved it.
I loved it, but it was like comical, right?
It was very much like
why?
what a dumb cops.
Fuck mustaches. I don't understand why the world has embraced them.
Can you not grow a mustache?
I've grown a mustache one time. I was the best man in a wedding of a guy who no longer talks to me, and
I was too.
it's not even my fault that he doesn't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew a mustache for the wedding, and in between the wedding and the reception, I shaved the mustache. And the whole reception, people asked me like, "Oh, did you have a mustache before?" And I was like, "No."
Meanwhile,
That's so
all
fun.
wedding photos.
All wedding photos. What a confusing set of wedding photos that was.
Yeah, it was pretty sick though. Like,
It's pretty great.
I'm a cool guy and I do cool stuff. Like one thing I'm thinking about lately is you have those
It's like everything's a prank in your life. You're like, oh, I got invited to a wedding. I'm gonna change clothes halfway through the ceremony.
I got in a big fight. I'm going to.
I got in a big fight is a great way to start that sentence.
I got in a big fight with my best friend yesterday because my friend Apu Goundin, friend of the show, he's getting married this July and he's an Indian fella. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited. Like I get to wear that Indian dress. Like I have to. I'm gonna wear like flowing white cotton. But like he's always been like a lot more successful than me. Like he works at Google. And, like he takes me to the Christmas party.
Mm-hmm.
Like he picks up my tab when we go to Vegas and shit. He's the best guy, but he's so much more successful than me in these Google like programmers. So when I introduce him to people, I like feel like insecure. So I just go like, "Yeah, this is Apu. He likes computers."
Can I tell you about when I was the best man in a wedding once?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. This is going to be the most tangential
This is
episode we've
fine.
ever had.
But this is actually what our episodes are based in.
What, being a best man in a wedding?
No,
Yeah.
tangents. Tangential.
I was the best man in a wedding that happened in a small town in Rhode Island. And there are two giant happens in this wedding, and they're both my favorite things. First off, we were trying to pose along a seawall with the bridal party, and whoever the third bridesmaid from the right was stumbled backwards and fell into the Atlantic Ocean.
way.
Yeah. Fell off the and it was the slowest fall. She was like trying to stop and just kept sliding further down.
Yeah, because it's like a slide, right? Like her dress is getting fucked up.
Yeah. And then the groom, well after the reception, they had custom bottles of wine printed, and he tried to fist fight some random dude in the town because he was like, "Where?" That guy was just chugging a bottle of his wine, and he was like, "Where'd you get that bottle from?" I was like, "It's your wedding. Just drop this."
Yeah.
And he tried to fist fight a homeless man on his wedding night.
On your wedding night, you don't want to take any shit.
Yeah, but he wasn't giving him any shit. He just ran into this guy who was drinking a bottle on the sidewalk.
That's my fucking wine, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, no, calm the fuck down.
Yeah. Is there
I should have gone with the second one.
Are you
No,
guys?
both
Are you
were
guys
good.
male?
Both are good.
Are you guys male feminists?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. I feel like you're setting us up.
What do you think about on your wedding night? You let your old lady peg you.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. If she would like to beg me,
You need
by
to
all
be-
means,
No, that's
go
like
ahead.
a 20th anniversary thing, I think.
Yeah, you got to live on a golf course
I'm
to
not
enjoy that.
I'm not
fully.
opening with getting pegged.
Really?
No, come on.
But you've lived together for so long. If you're getting married, you've lived together for
Look,
so long.
I'm saying we can open it up to something else new. It doesn't necessarily.
I think I'm confusing pegging and docking.
Yeah, you know how wives have foreskins.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, do they not?
Traditionally, they do not.
Oh boy.
Come on, I know you spent too much time in ladies' softball locker rooms not to know that. You've seen your fair share of well-oiled catcher's mitts.
I've never seen it. How dare you?
That's such a funny innuendo. It's like, what's he even saying?
I'm
What
not
is a
sure, but I
well-oiled
know
catcher
that
mitt?
it reflects poorly upon me.
Right.
Because it's always sitting above some creaky old knees.
Why do you?
So I coach in ladies softball.
All
What was
right.
that like?
Let's bring it back to the movie, right, guys?
Sure.
John, do you know any umpires?
I do a lot of.
No, this movie was so fucking boring.
When did it lose you? I thought the beginning was fun. You know, the execution. You
This
know,
movie was
he
trash.
fried. What was that? Was that electrocution or gas?
Gas.
It was gas.
Because they
Okay.
drop a bag that basically looks like a giant tea bag
Yeah.
into something, and then gas the whole room up.
No, that's.
Is that how you gas people?
No.
I really
It's not.
What I did I watched it by myself Thursday night, and I saw the open, and I was so disappointed, and so I watched it alongside the Limp Bizkit music video where they get executed, where they're drowned in milk. And I did think that the Limp Bizkit music video was better directed.
Oh, absolutely.
Shot across the bow.
I got my start in entertainment because my high school had a very good video program. We would all make feature length films.
Oh, for real? In high school?
Yeah. I made a feature length film that
That's impressive.
The town paid for, everyone came to see. But really,
Town paid for.
yeah, they gave me $2,000 to make this movie. It was sick. But I remember student films that had this same story as Fallen. And they used the color effect as doing the demon's perspective.
Yeah.
Is just so trashy, low budget, and it just shows no sense of style or nuance.
Yeah, and the effect is basically they lower the frame rate and they just jack with the colors.
Yeah, and this movie, its storytelling was so dependent on formalist elements, like the color effect, like the passing of Azazel, and just stylistically, it all looked like a template, and there was no real cohesion among the different elements. I'm sorry if I'm not talking about pussy or 9/11 right now, but I do feel like just from the opening sequence, it whiffs on everything from an artistic point of view.
I agree.
Another thing that I didn't like about the movie, I just called it a video. Wow, I'm like cutting it down.
It's pretty close. No, you're not.
Matt, you got to be like, someone's got to stand up for the movie. Like, make it
Yeah, I'll
more
do it.
Well,
interesting.
the thing about this film is, I didn't like the voiceover. I felt like that was like
Right?
so
That's
stupid. He's like every single scene. He's like it's like a monologue of Denzel being like, "Yeah, I almost died, motherfucker. That's right. I'm okay."
What, is that your Denzel Washington?
Yeah,
I gotta work on it.
It's pretty close to how he talks at points in this movie.
Thank you.
I just want to say I don't know if this is pro quo for your podcast, but
No, that's fine.
prior to watching it this afternoon, I hadn't seen this movie in 12 years, and boy, did I remember it a lot more fondly than I do now. But
Yeah, you
I
pitched
still
us
think
to
it's-
watch this movie.
I did pitch you to watch this movie, and I stand by that pitch.
It wasn't a bad film. Like
It is a bad film,
Well,
but it's a poorly executed good film, I think.
But it's also like so bad. It's kind of an argument for Denzel Washington. Like while this movie was unwatchable trash, and while viewing the second half, I was literally so bored. I paused the film and made my first ever student loan payment. I did think that Denzel Washington really radiated off the screen, and like there's just like he's a true movie star. There's almost like heat coming off of him.
every close up, every side profile, like every running shot, him taking off his jacket. It's like the screen holds the weight, but the story does
Yeah, and then
not.
like as a grizzled cop, like you see him like he really embodies a masculine ideal so effortlessly.
Can I ask you guys what city you think this takes place in?
Oh my God, I wanted to go in on that shit because I read a Q&A with the director who also produced Primal Fear, Matilda, and Bicentennial Man.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I just looked him up. His name is that's so fucking funny.
He talked about
Nicholas Kazan. He wrote. He was a screenwriter.
Allegedly, but there was this big spiel about how he took all these measures to like make it an indeterminate city, much like kind of a takeoff of Seven, where it's just a metropolis. But meanwhile, the second scene in the movie is someone literally getting a Pat's cheesesteak.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Like the quintessential like Philadelphia show food is like shown prominently. And I will say like
I like how they're playing him on call.
the kind of heroin addict brother who you can't tell what's wrong with him, that is also just like such a good portrayal of someone you would meet in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Do you think he was an actual heroin addict the whole time, or do you think that? Okay, so
You think Azazel point?
I think Azazel just poisoned him.
No, because he was doing it anyway because he put poison in there because then Denzel put the poison in the cigarette.
Right. So I thought that meant I'm sorry, we're jumping so far ahead.
Let's
in
talk
this.
about
And
it.
also like
I think that it was all poison, and that's why he could just dip it in there.
yeah, and like I think it was all poison. And he just didn't know like there's also like I think the style's kind of off in this movie because like they show heroin and the heroin is lime green. Like I don't know. I hope we don't have any fucking nerds listening to the podcast, but if you don't know, heroin is black, baby.
Yeah.
I just love the demon cam when it's like from the pet's perspective.
Oh, yeah,
because
it's great.
it's literally like they're just carrying a camera in a little crate.
I think we're about
It should say like pet cam.
we're 24 minutes of the podcast. We didn't really say what the movie's about.
Well,
Okay,
this is about when we get
that's one of our
to
segments.
where the
Oh
movie's
yeah.
about.
Wait, Matt's gonna say
No, you can do it this time. So like here's one of our segments is
Okay.
we like to summarize the movie and give the movie synopsis. And Joel's really like caught me off guard both times. Like I'm like, well, it's Drew Barrymore. She's like hot.
Well, Matt's like movie synopses are like some guys worked real hard on the lighting and You could tell the editor had a real nice rig. I think his assistant even brought him coffee and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear your movie synopsis for Fallen.
Right,
Give
because
me-
I have a
gi-
very important point to bring up when you're done.
Well, you can bring up the important point first.
No, 'cause
Yeah.
it's kind of
It's okay.
It's contingent.
The movie Fallen, written and directed in 1998 by Sir Nicholas Kazan, stars Denzel Washington as John Hobbs, a homicide detective in an indeterminate city. While witnessing the execution of a famed serial murderer, Hobbs witnesses a man starting to speak in curses, and as he's executed, he exclaims, "Time is on my side." And it turns out that he's actually the spirit of a demon that passes from person to person through the power of touch. And as Hobbs and this demon circle each other, they play a game of cat and mouse that escalates in both suspense and severity, although a pretty clunky route.
Love it. Love it. Cat and mouse. Wow. The analogies there.
You see how I tied it into the cat and mouse?
That's pretty great. So the thing that I wanted to bring up real quick is Joel mentioned that, Azazel travels through the touch.
Mhm.
In the scene that is probably the most, if there is an iconic scene in this movie, which there isn't,
Sure.
the scene that I would be like, this is the scene that best represents this movie, is the scene where Azazel is traveling back and forth in front of Denzel Washington and just like passing the spirit.
Oh, yeah. All the different strangers.
Yeah, the director actually came up with that sequence first and wrote the entire movie around it.
But there's so much latent sexual harassment that's going on in that. Because it's just like guys, like a lady will be singing and then a dude will get it because he put his arm around her and been like, "Hey, you're looking good today."
Right.
And then it's just like, oh,
I want to see
That's this scene coming up right now.
I want to see a remake where it's like 2018 and Azazel passes from like Woody Allen to Louis C.K. to Bill Cosby.
They're all just staring
Aaron
at him.
Glazer. He'll finally get that prominent role in a movie he wanted. And I do a little bit of they should have used the song "Power of Touch" at least one point in this movie. I do like a third job as a script reader for a screenwriting competition, and one of the things I've done it for a few years now, and one of the things I really notice is that a bad script really leans on voiceover narration.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I took apart this quote, like right as you're introduced to the movie, the big sequence hinges on the voiceover of
Denzel.
Something is always happening, but when it does, people don't always see it or understand it or accept it. Like, that's such a clunky line, and it ultimately says nothing. And I think it's a red flag when a movie like tries to be deep by naming a character after a philosopher. Like,
I agree with that point. I do disagree with you on the previous point.
oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
What did I say?
Well, I do disagree with you that it's unimportant that he says that like things are always happening even if you don't see them, because a lot of in the last third of this movie they very clearly spell it out what's happening for you.
Mm-hmm.
But the first 2/3 are a little nebulous, and I think that it's trying to encourage you to be like try to figure it out for yourself before they
Hit you over the head.
before they hit you over the head. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that does kind of sum it up a little bit, but like that's like I compared it to like a high school production, and it does seem like something a teenager would write.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it would have been a better movie if white people were following around Denzel Washington singing that Rolling Stones song just to remind them that they stole their music from black artists.
I thought it was weird how the cat kept Denzel's voice after Denzel died. And he's like, "I'm a fucking cat. I'm gonna go get my human host.
Matt,
out this bitch."
What
It's a
happens
great
at the end
Denzel.
of this movie?
So I'm spoiling it, obviously, but Denzel gets the demon into the corner. We're not cheering for the demon at all, right?
Well, I'm kind of not cheering for either of them. They're
And
both
they-
pretty bad
Really?
people.
I was cheering for Denzel's character because it seemed like he trapped him.
Yeah, no, in that situation, but like in general, like it feels like
Right.
it feels like Hobbs has a predisposition to some kind of shady shit because people like
Right. He was
approach
talking
him
about
towards-
the cream. Remember that cream?
Oh my
fucking
God.
Conversation.
could they knock you over the head with a
That was
metaphor?
hilarious. He's like, do you take your coffee black or with cream, Joel?
I like a little almond milk, and I've really been going for quad shot oat milk lattes as of late.
I'm James Gandolfini, like what?
See, but that is a more adept way to go into
And
it.
you could tell
What
who
he
I am
says
as a
is-
person.
He sits down and he meets Denzel Washington for the first time.
yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, you're John Hobbs, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I hear you take your coffee without cream." And it's like, why would you lead with that? Like, you're not ordering.
I heard you like oranges. Your favorite color is green, right? I feel like that would be a good podcast for kids.
Yeah.
Like a kid just interviewing another kid. Do you like grapes? No.
Do you like Oreos?
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, at the end,
Did you stick? Your girlfriend was out of town, right, Matt?
she was out of town. She's back now.
Did you stick to your diet when she was gone?
I don't remember. What
What's
was I
your diet?
dieting? Yeah. What did I say I was doing?
Don't you do like a weird keto diet?
No, I'm just being generally good, trying to watch what goes in, even though I did have some chocolate chip cookie before I came over.
Up until Friday, I had done basically 2.5 weeks of raw food.
Woo!
Nice. So that's like a Whole
Be a
Foods.
machine.
I went to Costco with a friend of my mom's, and I bought 5 pounds of spinach and 5 pounds of broccoli and 5 pounds of kale and some Brussels sprouts and stuff
That's
like that.
all you need. You're looking especially barrel-chested, Johnny Rose.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All I've been eating lately, I'm making smoothies with avocados, almond butter, and chia seeds. I feel like a
Ooh.
machine. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
It just turns into this pink sludge that looks like it's from Ghostbusters 2, but it's delicious.
You're gonna have to give me that recipe, dude. I want it.
You want it?
Yeah,
I can make you one.
I want the recipe. Teach a man to fish.
I don't think you.
Teach a man to fish for sure.
Yeah,
I don't think
no
you got
fish, teach a man to
almond
fish.
butter money, my man.
Oh, come on. I'm in production too, Joel.
I took out a mortgage for that shit. You think oat milk and almond butter is like LeBron James spends $1.5 million a year taking care of his body, and I need to exceed that.
Really?
Good
Yeah.
luck. That seems like a really high number.
1.1 million.
1.5, so I got to spend 1.51. No, you don't have to beat it by much. You just need to go over.
Okay. 1.501.
I'll pay. You can pay me $1 million and I'll pee on your body,
That I don't.
and that's good for your skin.
The only way that's all that. The only
call
way
it oil
jellyfish
salesman.
diet.
I wouldn't mind you peeing
It's good
on
for your
me
skin.
just because that would remind me of my favorite show, Billions.
That's my mom's favorite show. That's not even a joke.
Yeah, it's also Kevin Durant's favorite show.
My mom
Joel
is
and
Kevin
John's
Durant.
mom.
Did you not know that?
Me, your mom, and Kevin Durant, we would have something to talk
Oh my
about if we
gosh.
hung out.
You guys should start a podcast, the Billions podcast.
No.
KD, Mommy Rose.
Oh my God, what
We
a
talk about
demographic.
billions with them hoes.
Right? It's like 65-year-old academics in basketball fans.
It's every.
75.
Yeah, I mean, 69. What up?
Sorry.
Do you,
Sorry for
thi-
undercutting my
do you guys
mom's
have a
age by
favorite
10
number?
years.
What?
do you guys have a favorite number?
I do. It's 17.
Why is that your favorite number?
Because when I was very young, Mark Grace played in the town that I grew up in, Pittsfield, Massachusetts. And I went up to him once, and he was like, "Hey, kid, can you hit?" And I was like, I guess. And he's like, next time somebody asks you that, your answer is, does a bear shit in the woods? And then my mom flipped out, and I was like, this guy's my favorite dude. And that was his baseball number, and that's always been his baseball number. So
That's a good answer. Matt, do you have a favorite number?
152.
Why?
is that how many minutes this movie is?
No,
it's actually
this is a long
124.
movie. Yeah, but 152 is the number of followers we have on the on the Twitter account for at 20-year-old movie.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
What exciting!
I figured
guy.
if you were going to ask me a question as exciting as what's my favorite number, I might as well plug some.
I have a favorite number.
Is it 69?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's 27.
Why?
Because when I was a kid, my uncle put me up in a tree, and he said I couldn't come down until I chose my favorite number, and I could pick between 4 and 27. And I picked 27, and he let me down from the tree, and I've been riding hard for it ever since. Is that worse than being molested, you think?
That's up. The Wachowski clan sounds a little weird.
Every time I think of that number, I just feel so powerless.
Can I ask you guys a question that this movie brought up in my mind? And I'd love to hear your input on it. So, to go all the way back to the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
when the guy's on getting executed and he's saying whatever he says, Denzel Washington refers to what he has to say as mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
Do you think mumbo jumbo is a racial slur in some way? It feels like some real down south kind of like all these mumbo jumbos.
I know. It's from like a Disney movie too. I think.
Is it?
I know it's from another. I've heard it
I
before.
think that solidifies my case even more.
Yeah. It was animated next to the N-word in the dust on the Lion King.
Yeah.
You know those mumbo jumbo, eat like gumbo. I think mumbo jumbo would be a good term for people who collect cans.
Regardless of
Matt,
race or creed.
Mumbo gumbo.
Mumbo gumbo.
Matt, what's your favorite racial slur?
Ooh, I was just asking Mike if it was okay to say WAP, and he told me it's not. So that's my favorite right now.
I did notice
Without papers.
this movie. Back to Fallen for a second.
Just a second. Just to get back to this.
I like that at one point they were looking through like the old case files, and there was a newspaper headline just to set up like past crimes, and it just said, "Child abductions draw protests."
The con child. Okay,
You know, there's good people on both sides.
that's funny.
Yeah, and I did.
That's great.
Yeah, this movie was like if Seven was on the Disney Channel. Like it had that kind of like, you notice how like all like thrillers kind of take place when it's rainy, when it's dark out. Like the weather's too nice in this movie.
Yeah.
It misses on tone. I also noticed in the score that they used it like pretty like traditional score, and towards the end of the movie they started using a bunch of didgeridoo.
Wow.
I got a didgeridoo in the closet actually.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's Australian, right?
Yeah.
No.
It's definitely not British.
It is a Brit.
Wow. I like how this movie's pro cats.
It's a pro cats. I feel like cats are the literal indoctrination of evil at every turn in this movie.
I don't know. I mean, like the cats are the protagonists. Then at the end, he's like, remember how I said almost died?
Would you
and then
call
it plays
him
the cool
protagonist?
music. That's what I'm
He's
saying.
the antagonist,
At
I
the
would
end,
say.
though, they play it off like he just got off, like he's goddamn Kaiser Soze, but it's just a cat walking through the woods.
Just because somebody survives a movie does not make them the protagonist of that movie.
What song does it play at the end? I
It
want to
plays
prove.
"Sympathy for the Devil," which is not the song that they've been singing the whole time.
Right, I know, but
Yeah,
like
but-
it made it seem like he was like this cool guy riding off into the wind, being like, "Yo, fuck this detective that almost got me, bitch."
I'm a meow meow now.
This is one of the clearest.
What song is it again?
It's called "Sympathy for the Devil."
Sympathy for the Devil.
This is one of the clearest cases of foreshadowing in the whole movie because one of the first creatures to lay eyes as Azazel on John Hobbs is a little orange cat who looks a lot like my cat. And
You can't say Azazel without it sounding like you're doing a Bill Cosby impression.
Azazel. That's when the demon came. Azazel took my body. That was pretty bad. But I'm glad.
this kid sucks.
Yeah, what would you
Come
do?
on. Like this is like the end of a heist movie. Like this guy just got away
It
from
kind of is a heist movie in a way.
And we're just watching a cat trot through the snow to this fucking
Remember,
song.
I said almost died. I got 8 lives left.
It's so fucking dumb. I was so mad, and then it shows like cuts of a crowd being like, "Yeah, that demon got away." But anyway, I thought it was funny. Like it was definitely like the proper amounts of twists and turns in a movie.
It
Where
really
I
tried.
was like,
it was a bad movie that tried.
It,
I
it
did
surprised
thi-
you a couple times.
I did think it was more effectively done in Hocus Pocus.
Slightly, yes.
Oh, when there were cats.
No, and that guy got turned into a cat. It was so haunting.
Oh,
Man, kids' movies are scary. Like I was so traumatized. I was terrified of Ernest Scared Stupid.
Can I also point out real quick that nobody bleeds in this movie? Did you know that?
Ooh.
Even when he gets shot in the head and everything, it's just a clean bullet wound right through the dome.
Yeah.
What a disturbing note. Did
I
you
don't
know
know.
nobody bleeds in this movie?
I think that tells you everything you need to know about me. Mostly good with a little dark turn.
Do you
Yeah.
guys wanna know my favorite demon cat?
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it?
You were one of his followers? Yes. I was on the
You got
refreshment.
Salem the cat
So, I
from
turned Salem into a
Sabrina.
cat, but how are you?
Man, I
punished?
hate
I have to
Sabrina.
keep him worm
Really?
free
Why?
for a century.
It's just
Still,
low
boys
rent
talk
trash
about when
for
the girls run around.
toddlers.
Boys or boy
That is
cats?
true.
Is there a
Boy,
difference?
yeah.
Not really. Cats might be a tad more political.
What if the cat was like
Sabrina, when the
this?
women folk aren't around, men can relax.
Put it on like a puppet stick, and he's like,
Sorry,
"I'm
honey, but the words of the
Azazel."
immortal bard, that's for me to know. And for you to stay at
Meow.
night's
I would
cool,
love
because
that.
You'll never find out.
Men.
Meow, says me now.
The cat takes like.
What would you
quickly-
guys do with Azazel's powers?
Ooh,
I think only murder, right? That's the only thing you're allowed to do.
I think I would fuck with the NBA for sure. You
The
know?
NBA?
Oh yeah,
You wouldn't want to be Kevin Durant?
yeah. I would.
Like, you could bet on against a team, then, like, switch bodies with Damian Lillard and then
Right.
throw the game. Then
You
you
could
could be
literally-
fucking rich.
yeah, you could
Like,
throw
yeah,
every
well,
single
but I think
player's
if you'd,
shots.
I think if you were a player, you'd probably get caught, right?
Yeah, but I'm only in that body for, like, 10 minutes. Like, I could ruin someone
Yeah.
who I don't like's career.
Yeah, you hard foul somebody and take over their body, and you get to get up and be the guy who gets interviewed. You could do like really wacky press conferences, like Joel, you just got fouled by this hard foul in Game 7, and you
Yeah,
Just got fouled by this hard foul.
I would be
by Fowler McFowlerson from the Fowlers.
I would be
of
James
Philadelphia.
Harden, and like as I was accepting the MVP award, I would say, "I just want to thank the inspiration for this beard, Osama bin Laden."
What if you just were James Harden? You threw the MVP award at the lead player of your opponent.
Oh, absolutely.
Ooh.
Some
But
real pro wrestling shit.
That's good. James Harden, you could tell he has a lot of fun.
Can I go ahead and say this demon has like no imagination? He could be the president. He could be NBA players.
He just wants to fuck with this one cop.
Yeah, he's just like, I like to take over weird people's bodies by grabbing their ankles and then jumping into cats every now and again. It's just fucking weird.
He only jumps into cats.
I just can't bear to be more than 5 miles from the Liberty Bell.
Fuck your nondescript city.
There's so many other animals he could have jumped into the bodies of, but they're only cats.
Right. He could go to a
been
zoo.
A pigeon.
He could go to a zoo and just take over like a lion's body,
like a dog.
Mm-hmm. He could be like Harambe.
Mm-hmm. He could be Harambe.
Whoa.
And then he takes over the little kid. Oh my God. You could. Yeah.
I want that on.
This guy has no imagination.
Yeah, well, we don't know what demons feel and perceive, so they probably reside on a different plane of existence than us.
I find it hard. So this lady, I'm sorry, but at one point he jumps into a lady, and then inhabits the body of that lady for, I would guess, 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
You think he touches boobs a lot?
But I imagine it very difficult to not make physical contact with somebody for a full 2 days.
Yeah, you just sleep like a pencil style.
I think you can choose to pass it along or not, like HIV. If you do enough kegels, you can hold the virus in your cum. Did you know that?
This is my favorite podcast.
I'm writing that down. That's a note. Kegel to prevent HIV contraction.
You could do that.
Do you guys think they could have titled this movie differently to like make it be more successful? Because like this movie didn't make back its box office.
It didn't?
No.
Not even with Denzel?
Not even with Denzel.
How much did it make?
3 times I've rented it from the video store.
Maybe this isn't including...
Denzel got 2 bracelets on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This doesn't include Blockbuster and Hollywood Video and all those.
Keep naming video
How
stores.
did you guys watch this movie? Both on YouTube?
Video update.
No, dog. I got an illegal Fire Stick.
Cool.
Yeah, I had to steal it from the dark web.
I rented it from the video store.
Get the fuck out.
That
I'm
is
100%
so
serious.
lo-fi, dude. Awesome.
There's a video store by my mom's house in East Harlem. And it's called We Deliver Videos, which is what they do. And
Matt, did you write down Kegel to prevent spreading HIV?
Oh, I tried. I'm still mad at myself for saying, "Oh, totally lo-fi." Fucking kill myself.
No, you got to embrace like being a tech guy.
I know. Here, I got the numbers for you. It cost $46 million, and the box office was $25 million.
Yeah,
so it probably
that
made
makes
its
sense.
money back
I
after
doubt it.
VHS.
maybe VHS, because
And, like-
VHS was very expensive.
Yeah.
I would like to be possessed by a demon because I really don't think you could tell the difference.
What about a fallen angel?
Yeah, that sounds good. Wouldn't it be cool if we were
See,
just
that's
angels?
That's a whole renaming thing. If this was named Fallen Angels, it might have gotten more.
No.
I wanted to. I wrote down. I thought
This
it would be better.
This reminds me of my old hobby, touch and run. You would just go up to someone on the street. You would like tap them on the shoulder, and then you go touch and run. And then you just run away.
Oh, it's tag?
That's
a little bit.
That's what I wrote down. This movie would be better if the name of it was Extreme Tag.
Or just tag? What if it was just tag?
Oh, dude, that'd be sick. I'm sorry, you calling it touch and run? Let's go back to that. Let's go back to touch and run.
Yeah, you never touch and run.
Oh,
Anybody?
dude, you didn't play touch and run on the playgrounds?
I had a lot of good hobbies. Like I would pretend to be like a homeless guy.
Oh my god!
I would like sleep on the streets and like me and my buddy we'd dress up as homeless and we got in a fist fight in Bath and Body Works over a penny.
You guys would catfish bum fights.
Yeah, like be a fake bum.
Yeah.
But we were committed to it. Like we ate a hot dog we found in the trash.
Yeah.
So
Oh my god!
This one time, my baseball coach in high school, wanted to raise some extra money for the team so we could get like totally uniforms. And his plan was that he was going to dress up as a homeless person and panhandle outside for him. What a sweet man.
I was pretty close.
What a sweet man.
Some, Boy Scouts sell popcorn. Girl Scouts sell Girl Scout cookies, and
No, you had like a big old trench coat and stuff like that.
some people go to the costume store and panhandle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really nice baseball uniform, John. But I saw your coach on the subway. Does he have AIDS?
Where did
Does he not know about kegling? Ladies and gentlemen,
You heard it here first.
I have H. John is raising his hand in a conversation right now.
No, I was
Jonathan.
going along with it. I was doing a little hand
I
wave.
feel like John's making me feel like I'm in a Baptist church right now.
Yeah,
He's just waving
yeah,
along.
preach.
Ladies and gentlemen, my boys in Harlem need stirrups. They need gloves. They need bats. They need balls, gloves, and love, which I can no longer give because I have the HIV virus.
Ladies and
I'm working
gentlemen,
on my-
showtime.
Another thing that was ended by the HIV virus. That's a Magic Johnson joke for those keeping score at home. If you are alone, listening on your phone. I got hit and ran this week.
Whoa.
Yeah, my bumper was completely torn off, and the street was covered in styrofoam. How are we?
You want to talk
Did
about
your
it?
insurance take care of it?
My car is so shitty. I just took it to the mechanic, and he drilled the bumper back on, and I gave him $5.
Jesus Christ. If you get in a car
That's
accident, you're
great.
dead. You're literally dead. Your
Man,
bumper's not going to work
I
proper.
can't wait to fucking die.
I'm not. I need a new co-host. I'd miss you, Joel.
Co-host with the
You did it
grave.
without a co-host for a while. You can do it again.
I would love
Wasn't good.
that, like Matt hosting solo, but like doing
Say
me
it
like,
is now.
you can't hear, but the urn called me a pussy.
All right, or if I can get the ashes of Joel and I point the mic towards it and light it, I would have a video podcast where I could cut to the urn anytime I said something unfunny.
We're talking about Truman Show, a movie made in 1998. Joel, what'd you think? That's the
Wow,
usher.
liked it that much, huh, Joel?
And then Shelby would just come in like, Matt, you have to get rid of those ashes.
You have to move on.
I like that. Shelby like throw his corpse out.
Are you?
I would spread his ashes at a Mets game.
What? The?
No.
A Mets game?
Okay, I'd spread his ashes
Detroit
at
Lions
Madison
game.
Square
the
Square
one-
Garden.
Dude, that's my bit.
The one thing
I
that-
want my ashes spread at Madison Square Garden.
Oh.
I told my friend that. He thought I said bodily remains instead of ashes. And then I was like, did you think I just wanted you to
That's so
sprinkle my fingers around the place? He's like, yeah, you
I
asked.
love it because it's so funny. They'd have to sweep you up and you'd get into the corners and stuff, and you're like,
Exactly.
Johnny Rose. in every corner.
I only want one thing when I die. You can do whatever you want to my body, but at the basketball court on Putnam and Knickerbocker, you need to put up a plaque that says "Home of the Big Walkowski."
Of course. I'll put that up right now. I'll
with a
make it out
picture
of
of
cardboard.
Tilly.
Yeah,
Tilly pissing on the fucking concrete.
No, it's a different court.
Well, I mean,
court.
like,
I'm
assuming she'd eventually see it.
Just a bunch of hot dog pants.
I go to 2 basketball courts in the neighborhood, Matt. One is to work on my jump shot. One is to work on my game. And I do go to another one to like
Work
talk
on
to
his
this
dick.
13-year-old. No, this kid saw me like buy my car, and then like I became like a weird like he started looking up to me. Like he came to the Big Walkowski and was like, "Is he here?"
The man this tournament's named after.
Hey, we gotta print up some podcast cards, and we'll give them to these kids
Oh,
that idolize you.
You do have to print out podcast
We
cards.
gotta thank our newest subscriber.
Yeah, tell us
Oh.
about the super fan. I saw that we had a listen for the entire show in the United Kingdom, and I was blown away.
That's the wrong guy. So
Oh.
if you're listening to
All right, shout out to our one UK fan. Hell yeah.
How many listens we getting? We're getting pretty good.
I don't want to talk about it on air.
We're doing pretty good, right?
Yeah, we're doing great.
What do you use, Libsyn?
Mm-hmm.
How many listens?
I don't want.
We'll talk about this off air.
Yeah.
Tell me. You can edit it out. Man. I thought we were doing better than that.
I'm very sorry.
Because I feel like I am like
It's
very funny on
I'm
this.
telling people it's so fun and so funny, but they I'm
I
just
don't-
not
I
getting
don't
it
give a
done.
fuck.
I've had a blast.
I don't give a shit.
We're gonna make this until the
I
wheels
don't-
fall off.
I don't
baby.
need another laugh in my entire career. I am only performing for one man only from this point on.
And that
Denzel
is
Washington.
No, Jatan from New Delhi.
Oh.
shout out to
Like-
to
So I was walking to the gym. I think it was a chest and leg day. And I stopped and I got a red eye from Trans Pecos Cafe. And I'm walking.
What is a red eye?
It's
That's
a
a
shot of
specific coffee
espresso
drink.
in coffee.
Mm-hmm. I don't drink coffee.
It's good. You do that with a little almond milk, Cafe Splenda, and then you're set for some powerlifting.
Nice.
You want to have like a thick cup of coffee there.
Is that your pre-workout instead of doing like mixed up pre-workout?
Yeah, I don't do pre-workouts. I want everything to be natural. I don't.
Could you
I don't-
imagine a coffee pre-workout?
I mean, a lot of great.
I'm sure a lot of cops do it.
No, I smoke a little weed. I have a heavy coffee, and then it's time for some powerlifting. But I'm
Nice.
going
Yeah.
into the gym, and I get this call from a number. I think it's like some real estate bullshit because I do apartment rentals. If you're one of the 12 people who listens and you need, please hit me up. I'll rent you an apartment, and unless you're black, because then landlords will discriminate against you. Unfortunately.
Joel, telling it like it is.
No, I'm having that right now. I've got these great guys from New Orleans. They're awesome to hang out with. They make good money, but their credit's fucked up because like they're from New Orleans and they've been through some shit and no one will rent them a place. It's breaking my
Really?
fucking heart. Yeah.
That's bullshit.
You can't.
Yeah. So in addition to like talking about 9/11 in a jovial way, I help low income minorities.
So you
find
take
housing.
the good and the bad, everybody. Okay. I'm looking for this fan of yours. Did he follow you on Instagram or Twitter?
Yeah. No. You can see a picture he tagged of me.
Oh, okay. Talking to the mic next time. Right here.
No, that's
it.
from Rufat, another silly
Right
immigrant.
here?
Good old Rufata Gayev.
No, look up.
Hey, buddy.
I don't know where it is. Look up Jatan, Jatin.
Good old
Why do you
shit.
want to see his picture?
I just
Yeah,
want
why
to
do you
follow
wanna
along.
see his picture?
Jatin. Followed by literally the worst. Jatan, this one?
Yeah, Jatan Sadev.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my boy. So I get this telemarketing call,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy's selling.
All right, first of all, hell yeah.
So this guy's selling like you can print anything on the back of a Family Dollar receipt.
Really?
So- and he's trying to get me to like buy stuff for my real estate business, and
What do you mean you can print anything?
you can
on
print
the back?
anything you want for $210 a month. You can print anything you want on the back of a Family Dollar receipt. So I think it'd be funny to like, not even funny, but even like righteous to print, because it's Family Dollar. It targets like a certain demographic.
Yeah.
So publish some incendiary information about income inequality, like
Right.
things billionaires are doing, and then like maybe some home addresses of some. And then just like really want to put fuel on the fire of the impending class
I think
warfare.
that sounds great, but I don't think enough people would look at the back of the receipts. I think a lot of people would just crumple them up and throw them out. Also,
on the front it's like dog food, cat
Yeah,
litter,
Dollar
ramen
Tree.
noodles, and then on the back it's a list of Steve Ballmer's sins. But
that's what I buy at Family Dollar most times.
and I think it'd be good to do as a bit. And I'm telling the telemarketer, like, yeah, I'm a comedian. Like, maybe I'll start like adding to the class warfare that's due to come. He's like, whoa, you're a comedian? Do you know Russell Peters? And not only do I
He's-
know of Russell Peters, but we own the same cardigan. So I said,
it's
yeah,
true.
of course. We have that Joe Louis cardigan, which I've since given to my mother. But so I just started talking to this guy about my comedy. He's he's watched all my stuff. He's really supportive. He's sending me like all these fan messages.
It's like he got reverse telemarketed from you. He fell in love.
Yeah, he tried to
did
sell
fall in
me
love.
something.
Yeah.
Then I sold him on me.
He took a rescue home and fell in love.
And now he's like, he's not very good at encouraging message. Like, I told him like, yo, sorry, I can't talk. I'm about to go up on this show. And he's like, I hope you had a dinner.
I love it.
That reminds me. I told Joel that I've been doing raw food mostly.
Yeah. 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and I posted the other day. I was like, "This is my lunch," and it was a bag of raw celery, or not celery, a bag of raw broccoli, a bag of raw spinach, a couple apples, and orange. And this lady that I've never met before in my entire life was like, "Don't eat raw vegetables!"
Oh
and
my
she
God.
just kept yelling at me. She's like, "Make sure you steam the spinach."
She was like 9/11
Like
truthing the raw
posts,
vegetables.
5 comments, and I was like, "Who are you, lady?"
Right.
Well, everybody's body functions differently, so I imagine she probably had a bad experience with raw foods. Just hearing that, my only critique is you got to have some protein in there. Like, you just need that to run as efficiently as you can.
Well, nut protein.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Sorry, I missed that.
I didn't
Joel
put it out there.
overstepping his bounds.
Yeah, no, he was correct. He was correct to suggest. I just didn't include that. I had
That reminds me, I want to make sure I get that smoothie recipe, Joel, and we'll tweet it out to the listeners.
Please do.
We'll tweet it out to both listeners. I can't
Yeah.
believe we only have 2
All
listeners
12.
every episode.
Hey, we kind of have to include it now, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm riffing on it. I am shouting into the void, and only some sweet pair of ears in New Delhi are catching what I'm throwing.
Hey, that's better than most.
Call me Jatan. Call me Sister Hazel, because
Yeah.
this is all for you,
Jatan,
baby.
tell
I saw
everybody about
Sister
the
Hazel.
podcast, Jatan, please.
I saw Sister Hazel perform at a concert at my friend Apu Gounden's apartment complex.
Really?
Yeah, Apu. He likes computers, but
your friend that you're intimidated by that works at Google.
yeah, he works with, and he lived in Stuytown on like 14th and First.
Yeah.
And it's like a big apartment complex, so they booked Sister Hazel and Tonic to play a
Ooh.
double bill at like 4:00 on a Saturday. It was great.
That's great.
Hey.
An old style.
He lived with some nerd, and the
Ew.
nerd's mom was in town.
Did you just say
And-
you?
No, yeah, nerds are fucking
That's
gross.
Ew.
I went to an open mic yesterday, and some old people sat next to me, and it fucking sucked. But anyway,
I hope you riffed that as your opener.
nah.
Fucking sat by
Hey,
some
you
old
guys
people.
suck.
Sucked. Anyway, knee rehab is hard.
I have a hot new bit.
Oh, really?
What's it about?
It's about
Tease it for the folks.
Well, it's about like I like watching foreign porn, so I can say.
First of all, foreign porn is like it's fun. It's so fun to say.
So I can say
porn.
I came from immigrants.
I do like that.
I
And then-
love it.
And then it's
Fucking where's your A+ column?
then it's an extended bit on how I'd be a good child pornographer. Like there are some like I think the bit is like I think
you can go without that tag.
yeah, me and John just like kind of look at each other like what?
the bit is I think the worst pornography is child pornography.
That is true.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
Because if you watch it, none of the child porn stars have abs.
Hey, that's already
Okay.
Also, if you
that is
watch
the
it, you
least
go to
offensive way
jail.
you could go.
Yeah.
But if I were a pedophile, I wouldn't go to jail for child porn, because what I'd do, I'd put kids' faces on adult bodies. There.
Oh my
Worst
God.
case scenario, you get kicked out of your scrapbook class. Best case scenario, buff kids.
I'll tell you what.
Try it. Try it
I'll
at a
tell you
mic.
what. I am normally not in favor of comedians burning their material on podcasts. But if this is the only place you tell this joke, great.
I'm telling it. No, I'm telling it.
No. Child porn is the worst porn is great. That's so funny.
That's so funny.
And like saying your like quibble with my quibble.
The abs part really takes it to a very visceral and disturbing place.
Like,
You gotta watch him perform it, John. He's got to act out. He like bends his knees so he gets to be kid height.
Like, I don't know about you guys, but like I look at these
Why
kids.
is that better?
And I don't want to see them naked. Listen,
Kid fucking height.
I'm starting over. I have nothing in this world except my beautiful, wonderful girlfriend whose uncle owns an NBA team, my perfect body, my wonderful dog, $70,000 in my savings account. But that's all I have. So I need to start from the bottom with stand-up. My act is terrible, and I'm starting from square one, and it is going to be a fucking train wreck.
You got it. I'm 100% for it.
Yeah.
I want to start over, but with no enthusiasm or love of craft.
Do you guys have any final thoughts about Fallen to wrap us up?
Yeah, will you edit out that sad part about my stand-up?
Yeah.
I want people to think I'm a commodity.
You are a commodity.
I did have some good sets in 2014.
Same. My tape is from 2014.
My only note I think that I have is that at 7 different places in my 3 pages of notes, the question, is the brother developmentally delayed, pops up.
They don't really
explain it at all. He's a very sweet boy. I'm also a very sweet boy, and it gets me a lot of pause.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes my girlfriend tells me I'm a sweet boy, and I say, Gabby, I'm not a sweet boy.
Are you calling me retarded?
A lot of people do.
That's what you guys are saying. Sweet boy means retarded, right?
No, it doesn't. It means you're a sweet boy.
I mean,
Think about the subtext, Joel.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's...
Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're probably right, but I also
Hot
just
take.
generally refer to myself as a sweet boy, and I'm like, yeah, I think these are both accurate descriptions.
Yeah. I'm a sweet boy too.
I'm one of the sweet boys.
I'm a sweet boy.
I'm gonna. Child porn is the worst porn. There's sweet boy. They're agave. They're equal. They're sweet and low. And you can put them in the boy, and you can make a very sweet boy. You can make a very, very sweet boy indeed.
He's starting to move into Adam Sandler
This
territory.
boy, he made a salted caramel.
Final thoughts on Fallen?
I want to say that shout out Jeremy Renner appearing as the corpse in the first third of the movie.
Yes.
Really? Yeah, the corpse was played by Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, great death scene with his eyes open. Ugh, great.
Jeremy, we got a new part. You're playing a corpse, but I talked to him, and you can keep your eyes open. And he wasn't in what super he is? He's Deadpool, Arrow.
He's
bullet guy,
Hawkeye.
But
But he's also the star of The Hurt Locker.
Hurt Locker
Oh, yeah.
sucks. That's
Hurt Locker's
pro-military
great.
propaganda. That's just because you've been MK Ultra by the U.S. government.
I have the love of war, just like Jeremy Renner. I'm not at home unless I'm.
You just relate to
getting
that
that
movie
sweet
because you
rush.
can't decide what to get in a grocery store without Shelby around.
That was so good at the end, and you are on point.
Should
with
I
that
get
burn.
Trix or Salisbury steak?
Yeah,
Zing.
I'm just like lost with 2 boxes. And
Hey,
then-
Matty, you should get some crawdads.
was that a Shelby impression?
Yeah, you get the crawfish.
I'm gonna be in the meat department. Like, why don't you run over there and get some butter and some shellfish?
I do love Shelby. She's one of the 31
She's a
people
sweet
I
lady.
like.
31.
Yeah, I think I like about 31 people.
Have you done this math?
No, but I think it's a good estimate.
I think that's probably pretty accurate.
So she's 31, 30, 29.
I don't know.
Obviously not in order, but 28 more people
I'm
left.
definitely 31 out of 31.
No, because
That's too many people to
you paid
rank.
me back that $60.
Oh, that's right.
I think I might do a bit about that actually.
I love it so much.
Like I don't want any of my friends to die if they owe me money. Sorry, this is all I have.
I borrowed $60
good.
from Joel to pay my electricity bill once.
And I heard him.
And then 2 days later, I was like,
Yo.
well, I got paid. I'm going to go to this wrestling show.
Hell yeah, friendship,
Instead of
y'all.
paying him back.
That's great.
And it took, what was it?
No, it's totally
19 months? 18?
yeah, what was his
Dude,
deal?
this
And
is
then
like
I
the most
won-
heartwarming thing I've ever heard.
And then
This
I
is-
won we were talking about it earlier. I won a Royal Rumble pool, and I won $125. And I was like, here, Joel, here's 60 of them.
my
But
man.
I needed the money. It actually works out when you lend people money because you'll get the money back when you need it. Like I lent him the money when I was feeling flush, and then I got the money when I was going to Cuba having knee surgery.
You've never needed money. You've got 70 grand in the bank. You've
No, I've
talked
been-
about it multiple times.
I've been homeless before.
in a car.
Yeah, in a car, but like
Bitch, you ain't home. You living in a car.
That's still pretty homeless.
like I was living.
No, why
You're living in a car. You're not homeless.
I was living in a trailer and I was stealing food to get by, and my only source of income was I would street perform. And once when I was street performing, a lady tied me up and then peed on me.
Oh my god.
Didn't you
That's
listen to,
aggressive. That's
didn't you used
worse
to
than
let
being homeless.
dudes jack off on your feet?
No, I got offers, but I didn't. It was one of my major regrets. Some guy offered. I have a size 15 foot. This guy offered me $300 and a pair of Jordans to jack off on my feet. A guy came on my foot, but I didn't let him come on my foot. I was just playing basketball, and I got bamboozled by this.
Craigslist expert.
No,
Wait.
by this conniving homeless guy who tricked me into saying he was a nurse, and then he jerked off on me. But I didn't let him.
Yeah, you've heard of the story about Rich in Michigan, right?
Rich?
Yeah.
Who's Rich?
One time Casey and I were out drinking,
yeah.
and we as a bit told Robert Dean that one of my side hustles was that once a month I jacked off for a guy named Rich in Michigan. And he would on like a webcam, and he would pay me $450, and that's how I paid like most of my bills.
Gig economy, yeah.
Yeah, gig economy.
Yeah.
And both of us independently thought the other one had told him that this was a bit.
No. So you guys, how long did it go on for?
I have a bad
Like a good 7 months later, we're at our friend Eli's house in the backyard, and Christy Coffee comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, I heard about Rich." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, I heard about this." I was like, "Oh my god." I didn't know what she was talking about at first when she approached me about it, because it was a dumb joke.
Oh no.
I have a bad Robert Dean story.
You're like, no.
Once I was at a bachelor party with him, and he peed his pants as a bit, and it didn't land. And I was on mushrooms, and I pulled him aside and I asked him if he'd ever been molested. But in fairness, he's a great guy, but I just found out my dad was like a bad victim, and I was really dealing with that at the time. So that was very heavy on. I was probably projecting.
Yeah, a little bit.
So Matt,
So any
I
plugs?
can't top that, guys. I think we should
I have
spend my time talking about Fallen and wrapping up.
I got two more bits, motherfucker.
Two more bit. Oh God.
Well, I did just want to, Matt. I love you, Matt. I just did want to say there was a good use of the Philadelphia train station. It's a particularly harrowing place in the world, and they captured that, as well as like the architecture of the tunnels and like just the way it's laid out very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cabin in the woods was my favorite scene. You know, I like any
The
like
second cabin or the first one?
the one where at the end where Denzel's trapping him here. This scene right here, it's like nobody's around for miles, just white.
Throws the car keys. in.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. We did this now hour and 13-minute podcast without once addressing John Goodman. But you know what? He's
That's
on Roseanne,
fat. That's
and
like-
she supports Trump, so we don't talk about
Yeah.
him.
He's
That's
not
big
an ally.
John Goodman too. He is very large in that.
I think he looks pretty good for Goodman.
Yeah.
Really?
And we're going to
Yeah.
talk about Goodman when we do the Big Lebowski anyway. So
No, let's not talk about him then either. John, will you hand me that little black box? All
for the
right.
listeners at home, there is a little bit black box.
All right, Matt, I want you to draw a card.
And this is the unnamed
Don't
segment where we do something weird. We'll end on this, right, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, here we
These
go.
are called angel cards.
Okay, so it
And
says
hold on, I'll
is
guide you
Hazel?
through it. Angel
Okay.
cards.
angel cards.
I
Well,
live
Hazel's
I
an
grew up in a
angel.
boarding house, so we couldn't pray and shit. Mm-hmm. So we would do this. So you take a card. Take a card, John.
John's taking a card. Joel's taking a card. Everybody's got a card out of this weird box.
And then you get a trait and you reflect on how that trait is present or needs to be present in your life. Matt, what did you get?
I got awakening, and I feel like I need to be more alert in my life and take more water and Alpha Brain.
I've got
Joe
some-
Rogan.
I've got some
advertises it.
LSD in the drawer.
Oh, maybe I could microdose. That sounds right up my alley.
I got compassion. I'm going to offer Matt acid.
All right. Wow. That happened fast. Okay, John.
I got freedom, and I think a lot of my general presence is based around the idea of freedom of control and freedom of positivity in your own life. You know, and if you find something you enjoy, you should do that thing.
What about like Jerry Sandusky?
God damn it, Joel.
I mean,
God damn it, Joel.
also, as far as freedom, I hope that my sister is freedom from prison soon.
What? No way.
Yeah.
Does she want to be on the pod?
Well, probably. When was Rerun 1-1 the movie come out?
Ooh, let's
That's
find
the
a good
last
movie for
that
her.
I know that she has gone to see. It'll be a couple years.
But it's all these movies are from
We'll plan it out.
1998.
We'll plan it out.
Well, so at this point, you'd have to plan out, I think, for something for 2002.
She can watch Two Towers with us, huh?
We ain't watching no Lord of the Ring.
All right. John, do you have anything to plug? Any last words about Fallen?
I have no last words about Fallen, and follow me on Twitter at JohnPhenom, and on Instagram at John's a Phenomenon, and on Facebook at John Rosenberger.
Yeah, this Monday night at the corner of 6th and 30th in Manhattan, New York, I will be putting a trail of mayonnaise from the sidewalk out into the street. I will get on my hands and knees, lap up that trail of mayonnaise, and then get hit by a fucking car. So look out for that.
Can I come in that?
Yeah, you can.
Hell yeah, Joel. And 20-year-old movie for everything. Thanks for being on, guys. That was a great episode.
And remember, drink some water, do some push-ups, and hit like and subscribe on this fucking podcast. If you're listening, follow me on Twitter.
Please tell your friends about the podcast. All right.
I'm very
Go out into
unlikable.
the stairwell and just do a couple of like leg drops, right? What are those called?
Calf raises.
Calf races.
The mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, bye.
Sam, what do boys talk about when the girls aren't around?
Boys or boy cats?
Is there a difference?
Not really. Cats might be a tad more political. Sabrina, when the women folk aren't around, men can relax and open up about the big stuff.
Tell me what the big stuff is.
Sorry, honey, but in the words of the immortal bard, that's for me to know and for you to stay up nights boo-hooing because you'll never find out.